This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, let me share my screen. So I hope you can able to see my screen now. Okay. So we are in the discussion of UI model. So if I quickly recap what we discussed so far, we discussed basically couple of items, which is customized configuration, which is like completely let's say you are creating a new UI configuration with a new set of fields. Doesn't matter, it should be custom field, it can be standard field as well, but it's a completely new UI structure, and for particularly the custom data model. And that we have seen that by using airline process, we created the customized UI configuration. Then we also talked about the standard application, like the standard process which we have. However, I will also talk about the same today. And also today we will see uh, how we can enhance the standard application. Okay. So let me go to, uh, I will start with material, then I will come to supplier, customer, like that. Okay. Okay. So create material. So this is the NWBC screen, which is like a uh, execution launchpad. So in this execution launchpad, we have various uh, mm, various domains. Now the question is whether, let's say, in my project, I only need the supplier. So is it required that I need to bring uh, all the domains in my launchpad? No, it's not required at all. In fact, uh, whatever the data model uh, uh, you will activate, that respective details will be appeared in the NWBC launchpad. So if you are using, let's say for business partner, so the only the business partner related informations will be reflected in NWBC, not the material one, not the other one. Okay. Right now, in our system, we have data model, BP data model, finance data model, every single data model we have, along with some custom data model. So because of that reason, you can see different, screen for the domain launchpad. So here in the material governance, if I start with a material one, in the material governance, you have a different processes of material, like create material, change material, mark for deletion, and of course search material if you want to search the material. Then followed by some process like mass change, uh, file download, file upload, etc. Followed by change request information, like to see my change request, display any specific change request, etc. And then followed by some process reporting and the replication and data transfer. Data transfer is nothing but data import. Okay. Anyway, let's focus on this part. Okay. Or rather, I will say only the UI part. Okay. So these are all different processes like create, change, mark for deletion, what we have seen in the process model. So I just click on create material. The moment I click on create material, this initial screen will appear. Okay, this is the initial screen. What is the use of this initial screen? The use is like in this screen, we need to provide the change request type. What exactly the change request type I'm going to use here? Because I have plenty number of change request type. Even for material also I may have plenty number of change request type. So which one I am going to use? So as let's say I'm trying to use create material, so that's what I need. Let's say mat01, okay? Or you can create your custom change request type like ymat01, zmat01, etc. So I'm just using mat01. And the moment I provide the mat01 and enter, what I see, this is the UI I can see. Now, this UI, if you see here, it has many different fields, many different UI BBs. These are all UI BBs like classification, plant, distribution chain, GTIN number, plant details, sales information, etc. So if you remember, or rather I would say that if you compare in the last session when we discussed and the kind of UI we had for materials, this is not the same. This is different UI. So the thing is how I will get a different type of UI. So you can see in this UI you have plenty numbers of UI BBs. Okay, there are many UI BB. But if you remember in the previous session, when we were discussing with the material master, uh, we didn't have such kind of UI BBs, or rather, this complete UI is different. So how I will get this? So basically, in order to see that, we need to go to AC80 transaction. In AC80, we have to come to the package MDG BS Mat UI. Okay, MDG BS Mat UI. This is the package, and this is the standard package for material. And in this, you can see under the Webd Intro, we have FPM applications, and then under the FPM applications, we have MDG BS Mat, and under the MDG BS Mat, this is the initial screen. Now you can ask me what are the different versions. So over the period of time, SAP came up with the different versions. Now what is this initial screen? This initial screen is nothing but when you click, let's say, create material. So this is nothing but the initial screen. Now if I want to understand this screen, what is the component name for this screen? So right click technical help, and I can see MDG BS Mat and BS Mat init. This is the configuration name, BS Mat init. Okay. Now I would say, okay, I don't want this. I want this. So can I use it? 03, 04, or 05, the latest one? Yes, of course. How you will use it? I will show you. Now similarly, after the initial screen, when you come here, this is also another UI configuration screen. So what is this screen all about? Similarly, right click, technical help, and this is the one, BS Mat OVP03. This is the application configuration. So if you go to MDG BS Mat OVP, expand this, here you can see OVP 03, 03H. H is nothing but the hierarchy screen. This is completely different. Okay. So if you have any hierarchy screen, you can use that. Normally, we use this 0304, such kind of screen. Uh, there are some cases where might be we will be required some table format or hierarchy format that we can use then the hierarchy screen. So then 0505H, etc. And followed by some custom. Okay, custom means definitely these are all uh, probably someone like us we have created. Okay, these are all. Now the question is uh, how system will know which screen I want. So this entire sequence, where this sequence we register. So basically we register this sequence uh, under the process model. So go to MDG IMG process model, then business activity. Then under the business activity, you have linked logical action with UI application and business activity custom definition, not the standard one. Always we have to go with the custom definition. So here you can see this is for this was already it was present earlier last two items. So I didn't do anything with this. So all I did 194 is nothing but the BO type for material. Anyway, you can get this list from here. So this is 194 for material. This is for business partner. This is for customer. This is for supplier, etc. Okay. Now you can see. Let's focus on this line. So what this called? This is called activate type linkage. If you remember, when we were discussing model process model chapter, mm, process model chapter. Okay. If I open the agenda, probably in the agenda we can have it. Anyway, so in the process model chapter, we have a specific topic. If you see, if anyone is having uh, open that agenda near to you. So one of the topic is, and the last topic of the process model chapter was activate type linkage. And this is exactly this activate type linkage. So basically, in this activate type linkage, we create the sequence. Okay. So what kind of sequence we are talking about? So let's say this is BO type we have given for 194 means material. Logical action create. Now, uh, current UI application and current UI configuration. What does it mean? So the sequence is, so just think in such a way, when you click on create material, you and also system doesn't know which will fire. So this is the first point where you don't know. So you just give a star. This is the starting point. The moment you click, what happens? First, the initial screen will fire. So what will be the target UI application and target UI configuration for this? So we can go to the initial screen. Okay. So this is the configuration ID BS mat init, and this is the application configuration, which is MDG BS mat. So now you can see here MDG BS mat and BS mat init. This is the application name. This is the configuration ID. Now, as I was telling, like if I want to change, okay, I don't want to use init, I want to use 03. What I need to do? I need to check, okay, WebDim Pro application name is remain same. Only the configuration ID I need to change. Only I need to replace the configuration ID. So the next time when I will fire this the 03 uh, initial screen configuration ID will fire. Okay. And the business activity. So business activity mat1 is for material create. Anyhow, we can have this F4 details from where we can select whether it is for create, change, etc. So similarly, so first is the initial screen. Now coming to the second line. The second line is uh, mm, uh, create, then continuation. We have to maintain the continuation. That is initial screen followed by the target. Current and target. Current means if I am here, let's say I'm right now in the initial screen. So this is my current screen. The moment I will enter some data and submit or continue, whatever I will get, that is my target screen. Okay. So the target screen will be the one which I'm getting, the real change request screen. I mean, that means this screen. Okay. So this is the target screen here. So what is the target screen details over here? So webbed into application MDG BS MAT OVP and configuration ID BS MAT OVP 03. So you can see here MDG BS MAT OVP and BS MAT OVP 03. Okay, and the business activity is MAT1. So this is how we need to maintain the sequence. Similarly, for change, we need to maintain. Now, if you ask me, if I don't maintain the sequence, then what is going to happen? Then it will take the default one. What is the default one? The first one. Always the first one is the default one if you don't change this. Okay. So this is how we maintain the sequence. Now, once we enter this, we can see the list of fields. Now I want to add or remove some field. How I will do that? Let's say, first of all, I need to be very sure that under which UIBB. UIBB is nothing but user interface building block. That means this this is the every detail what you see here: basic data, dimension, purchasing, internal comment, description. This is a group of attributes basically, and this group of attribute we call it as an UIBB. So in this UIBB, first we need to understand that under which UIBB we need to add or remove the field. It's not like anywhere and everywhere you can do that, whatever you want. No, your customer will be very specific on that. That I want, let's say, under the basic data to add some new field or remove some existing field. So how we will do that? So let's say under the basic data, mostly we do under the basic data, but there is no such theory like that, that it has to be always under the basic data. It is all depends on what your business is asking. So right click, technical help. So you will able to go to the configuration component. So this is the component configuration. So click here. So what is going to happen? The moment I click on the configuration component of this particular UIBB, it will directly navigate to me the layout screen. So this is the whole layout screen. Okay. Now I can add my field, whatever I want. Okay. So now in order to add, if you directly click on edit, it will ask you the access code, but we don't have it. So what we need to do, we need to create one enhancement. So already I have created one enhancement here. So I just reuse that enhancement. Okay. And then let's say this is the custom field which I added. Now what is this field? This field is nothing but ZZ test 2. This is the field name I have given. Now, if I want to see this field quickly in the data model, in MDG IMG, go to data modeling, edit data model, uh, MM, entity type. Now I added this field under the material entity type. Go to the attribute. So this is the field, which is character 30. So once we add this field, we just activate it, and then we already have seen the process, like in the data model chapter itself, how to add some custom field in the data model. So the same process we followed, and then we came to UI configuration. And in UI configuration, what we did, we add this particular field. So how we add it? First of all, we need to go to the enhancement. Otherwise, as I mentioned, that it will not allow you. And then you go to form UI BB schema, and then you need to be sure under which group you need to add it. So let's say this one. Then click here. It's like the same thing what we have done for airline traveling, UI configuration when we add like currency and the description, etc. fields. Element, add element at current level. So I can add the field at the current level. So it will provide you the long list, whatever the custom field you have, you can select it and that will be added. So this is the list. Okay. So go to this, and this is my custom field which I already added. So I'm not going to add again. It is already added. So, and you can see this field is here. Okay. Now, the moment you add this, try to save it. Once you save, now go to the preview section. Now you can see this is your field, and then highlight this, click on this icon, which is an attributes icon. Okay. And then give whatever the name you want to give. Uh, let's say I want to change the field text. This is the field name. This is input field, visible, positioning, and finally FPM event ID, which is round trip here. Okay. Now you see material honor. Now, if you go back and if you see the existing change request, you will see still the old name is reflecting. Yes. Here you can see the old name, material custom field. It is reflecting. The reason is once you change, don't expect that change will be impact on the change request which already you opened before the change. So all you need to do, you need to trigger the new change request. So click new change request. Okay. And now you can see material owner. Okay. So this is how we can add it. Now I want to delete it, or if there is an option there is a requirement like you need to discard the field. So there are two ways. Either we can go to this uh, enhancement, go to the enhancement, select it, let's say division. So this field I can directly click on the delete button. So this is the delete button. But I don't like to do such kind of activity. Why? Rather I delete it from here. I would like to hide this field programmatically. Why? Because ultimately for my customer, they don't want to see this field. Doesn't matter whether you delete it from here or hide it. By the way, remember, when you delete this, it is not actually deleting from the system. You are just deleting from this enhancement. So it's just an enhancement is nothing but a layer. So from this layer, you are actually deleting the field. But ultimately, this field is present in the standard screen. Okay, so you are not losing the field anyway. But still, I would like to hide it rather than delete in this way. So in that case, there are certain things which comes in front of us. It's not just adding the field or removing the field. At the same time, there will be some more activities which will come regarding this UI, that is to make certain field mandatory, to make certain field grayed out, to make certain field invisible or hide, to make certain field F4 values, to make certain field value as a default value, etc. So this is, very repetitive kind of a task. It is a quite repetitive requirement in almost every project. So once you understand this, the same thing you need to do again and again with the different fields. Okay. So now in our change request, if I just go to our change request, now let me show you something. If I click on check button, I can see uh, there are certain fields which is appearing as a mandatory entry, like base unit of measure is mandatory, industry sector, material type, etc. Some of the fields having the asterisk mark and some are not having it. Next, we can see this material owner, this custom field. This custom field having some F4 button, and that is to having some value. Okay. Some of the field, like particularly if I say authorization group, this authorization group is a grayed out field. I cannot do anything with this field. Some of the field is having some default entries like change request description. Yes, I can change it. I can change it, but there was a default entry. Similarly, for the priority, this is also a default entry. I can change it based on my requirement. Okay, so that means these are all activity, how it is happening or who is controlling, by the way. So everything is controlled by the feeder class. Now, what is feeder class? Now, feeder class is, let's say this is one UIBB. So right click, technical help, and go to the component configuration. Now you can see that under the general settings, there is something called feeder class. Now the question is whether all UIBB will have feeder class. The answer is yes. Every UIBB will have the feeder class. Now the next question is whether all UIBB will have a different feeder class. Not really. It could be the possibility that different UIBB may have the same feeder class. It is all depends on, like, one feeder class is nothing but a one kind of a global class. It's a class which contains some method. Okay, so those methods, if it is capable enough to deal with a certain field which is part of a certain UIBB, then that will control. If that is not controlled, then definitely some other feeder class will be applicable for that. Okay, so it is not really that every UIBB will have the different feeder class. Rather, there might be a possibility. In fact, there are uh, cases where more than one UIBB share the same feeder class, because the feeder class which having the methods, they supporting those UIBB. Okay. Now this feeder class, which is related to the material feeder class. Similarly, when you will go for BP, I will show you, you will see the BP related feeder class. Okay. So so what is the significance of this feeder class? The significance of the feeder class is it will hold those attribute values in the framework. It will hold it. Okay. So now in order to see them, we need to go to the transaction AC24 because it is just like another global class. Okay. And this is the one. CL BS mat feeder format. CL BS mat feeder format. Display. Now you can see there are plenty number of methods. Now the question is which method I need to use. Now yes, the thing is I can tell you some methods which will be used for some purpose, but it is not necessary that every time those methods will be enough. Rather, you need to debug it and you need to identify where you exactly need to place your respective logic. But as far as these topics are concerned, like to make certain field mandatory or grayed out or visible, invisible, these are all things you need to go to the method called process event or get data. These two methods are very important, process event and get data. So if I go to the get data, so basically it helps for the all sort of data uh, retrieval activities. Now in this method, what I need to see the signatures. Signatures means the inbound and the outbound parameters, because those inbound and outbound parameters will decide whether the respective logic I can write it here or somewhere else. Okay. So in this particular method, if I see this particular parameter, CT field usage, now you can ask me, how come you know this? Yes, because I use it, so I know it. But the moment you will start using it, you will also start understand which of those parameters are required. CT field usage is a kind of a parameter which is very much necessary in order to perform such kind of activities like mandatory field, grayed out, visible, invisible, etc. How come? Because it is associated with this table type. Now, if I go to this table type, it has a line type or rather structure. Now in this structure, if you see the component which has been used, that is exactly satisfy what I need. Like name means what is the field name. Okay, so field name, definitely if I put some if condition, so definitely I need this name component. Like field name is, let's say, material type or material group or some custom field, then etc will happen. Okay, so then what is the next component? Read only, then mandatory, then enable disable, then label text, then help text. If I want to create some text like hello world, etc. Okay, then link, if I want to create any hyperlink, then visibility, visible, invisible, then fixed values. Fixed values are nothing but f4 values. These are all. Okay, so that means these are all activities I can perform by using those components. So for me, the structure is important to have in this particular method. So as this particular structure is present in this method, so this is the right method to write it down such kind of logic. Now go back to the logic. Okay. Now those who are having the above background, they will understand very easily because this is very easy logic, not complicated one. But those who are not from that background, so at least you can try to understand what I'm saying. By the way, let me tell you, if you are planning to project yourself as MDG functional consultant, you may need not to write this code. Okay, so you may have a question in your mind whether being a functional consultant I need to write. Yes, if you can, that will be a really good. But if you don't, so in that case, you need to take a help from ABAP. Okay. So ABAP will help you to write such kind of logic in the object-oriented ABAP programming. So first, what I did, I basically tried to create one enhancement implementation. Now let me tell you, there are two ways to do this. One is you can either create enhancement implementation or you can create some post exit, whatever it's good for you. Okay, I just use the enhancement implementation. The reason is I just want to show you the continuation of the standard code along with the custom code. Otherwise what you need to do, you need to create the post exit here. Respect to this method, you need to create the post exit here, and from here you can access it. Okay, now what I did here, basically, this is the enhancement section. Enhancement section is nothing but where you can create some logic. Now, how to build the enhancement section? Let me show you. So let's say this is the standard code. Now, I will place my cursor at the end of the standard code. Now you can ask me one question, that is whether I need to always place my piece of logic after the standard code runs. Not really. It is all depends on how you want to fire your logic or when you want to fire your logic. Okay, whether before the standard code fire or after the standard code fire. It is all depends on that. But generally, if you ask me, generally we allow the standard code runs first, then let our logic runs. Okay, so that's what we place our cursor here and then click on this spiral icon, which is enhancement. Click on edit, enhancement operations, show implicit enhancement. The moment you click on show implicit enhancement, this dotted line appeared. So place your cursor on the dotted line click on create, click on code. So basically you are using the code, and this is the enhancement which already I have created. So I will just show you a new one. Okay. And obviously you need to give some meaningful name. I'm just showing you here. Okay. And this is the section where you can write your logic. Okay. Yeah. So similarly, I created similar way this enhancement section. And in this section, you can see I have created first one field symbol. Now, what is field symbol? Field symbol is nothing but an array. What we have learned array in the data structure in the uh, graduation level. Okay. So the same concept here. So the array. So basically what you do, basically you create one field symbol respect to this structure, the structure which just now we have seen, because this structure I'm going to use it. Okay. So I have taken this structure as a field symbol, and one element, or rather one local variable, uh, type any means it could be element, it could be table, it could be structure, it could be anything. Okay. Then I loop city field usage. What is this city field usage? City field usage is nothing but it is another parameter, and which is changing parameter. Changing parameter means this kind of parameter helps in inbound and outbound both. Okay. So those parameters we call it as a changing parameter. And then associate type, and also this associate type having the same structure. Okay. Now, so you can see this from the city field usage. Okay. Now city field usage. So I'm looping this city field usage, changing parameter, assigning. Assigning is one syntax which we use here. It is used just to assign the respective field symbol. So this particular parameter assigning this field symbol, obviously because this, if you see, this parameter is having ultimately this structure at the back end. This is the city field usage, this is the table type, and this is the line type. Okay. And after assigning a very simple if condition, if this field symbol name means the first component. So component here, this is the one. Okay. And this component is assigned. This is another syntax. First we need to assign the component, and then the component name we need to give. So this component is nothing but uh, BISMT is nothing but I think old material number. 1 minute. Let me cross check. Right. This is the old material number, BISMT. Okay. Now, if you see in normal change request, which we open, in this change request, you can't find this old material number. That means we did something with that field. And what exactly we did it? So let's see. So here this is the field and we use the visibility. Exactly. So first component we use name. The second component we use the visibility. And the visibility is 0, 1. How come I know the visibility is 0, 1 is nothing but hidden. So if I go to the structure, visibility component, I need to go. So this is the visibility component. This is the component type and the domain value range. And you can see 0, 1 is none. None means not visible and 0, 2 is visible. So if I apply 0, 1, that means that field is not visible. Okay. So exactly that is what we did it. Secondly, same structure we call, just the name is different, which is unit of measure. Now, unit of measure, we say mandatory. Now, normally for material, unit of measure is anyhow a mandatory field. But then why we are calling this? So the reason is, if you see without this, the the base unit of measure did not have the asterisk mark, did not have this asterisk mark, this symbol. So in order to get that symbol, we need to write this logic. Okay. So that's what we use mandatory X. So similarly, if we see the respective domain value for that, this is Boolean and X, and this is above true, and non-X or blank is nothing but above false. Okay. Then next one is read only. So this is the one which we see, that is the authorization group. Authorization group. So this field you can see it's a uh, grayed out. So here same structure we call, only the field name is different, which is authorization group, and then read only. Again, read only is X. Okay. So the same structure we use again and again for the different field for different purpose. Okay. So this is the way we can use it. So let me change just to have a different value, just to check how it works. Mm, let's say I want batch management is grayed out. So what is the batch management field? This is the field name. So all I need to do, that is select here, click on change. Okay, I'll paste this field somewhere. Then here I will copy this field. Okay, so it's a read only. Save, activate. Now, once you are done, uh, you need to activate the method complete, and then again you need to try to execute from beginning. So create material. Okay. Now I can see batch management is nothing but grayed out. Okay. So this is the way we can perform this activity. Now coming to the next one, F4 values. Now for this F4 value, again, which field I need to do the F4? That is the first thing which we need to identify. Let's say the custom field which we have here. Okay. So right click, go to the technical help, and then component configuration, because people ask which feeder class I need to use. The feeder class we will use exactly the field which you are doing some changes or doing some activity with the field. So that field where it is located, that UIBB feeder class you need to use it. Okay. So then you need to go to the feeder class, and this is your feeder class. That means the same feeder class which I was using earlier. Okay. Now, now the question is which method I can use. By the way, you can also you can use get data, and in fact you can use the same structure which we were discussing. But I just want to show you some different method. So in order to do that, I use another method which is change field definition. Now this change field definition is also a very important method, because if you go to this particular method signature, you can see the city definition, CO catalog. These two important parameters which we have. And what is this parameter is doing? Basically, those parameters are helping in order to change the field characteristics. Okay, because when I say field characteristics, that means one field with a just normal text input, free text field, and the field which is S4, they are different, or the field which is having drop down option is different, right? So basically we are changing the characteristics of the field. So this is exactly doing this signature parameter. So here you can see uh, that's what we use this particular method in order to update the the field. Okay, just a moment. Get freeze. Okay. So now this is the standard piece of logic. So I will continue with uh, okay. So here also I have used the enhancement implementation. I repeat, either you can use enhancement implementation or you can use the post exit. Anything is okay. Okay. So the first thing which I use here, that is this structure. What is this structure? This structure is a very useful structure in MDG. It is not only used in material case, also it is used many places in supplier, customer, business partner, finance, etc. in MDG. What is the purpose of this structure? The purpose of the structure is containing two components. One is the field value, another one is the field description. Okay, so that means wherever I need such kind of structure where I have value and description, I can use this structure. Okay, and this is the standard structure which I can reuse. So uh, I have taken this structure into certain local variable, and also have taken some uh, let's say component. It's a component basically. and then field symbol. So field symbol for any table and any, it could be table, structure, anything. Now the CT definition. So CT definition is, as we have seen, this is one of the parameter, and this is the line type. And under this line type, see, if you see this line type, quite common is name and fixed values. The previous structure which we have seen, there also fixed values component was present. Okay, but I just came here to show you another structure where you can find it a similar component. Okay, now here city definition assigning the field symbol. Now we are saying that this LV name, this local variable, here we are storing the component name, and the component name is our custom field. And here then we call the value and text, these two things, value and the description, and then we append it to the fixed values component. Similarly for the second one. So likewise, if you want whatever the the number, you can create it accordingly. So the purpose of showing this, normally what happens that we use the S4 or the search help by using the data dictionary to create any custom search help. But the idea to show you this example is just to highlight that even logically you can create search help as well. Okay, so this is the value which you can see respect to this table, sorry, respect to this field. So yeah, I go here. This is the description, this is the value. Okay, so this is S4 or search help, sorry, F4 or search help. Now to make certain field value as a default value. Now so many example I have shown under the basic data. So I decided I will not show any more example under the basic data. So I came out from this UIBB and I just thought to show you respect to other UIBB, because ultimately uh, the same sort of logic apply to all kind of different UIBBs. So here you can see the change request description. We have some uh, some default value. Obviously, this is a dynamic. You can change it at any point of time, but by default, it is appearing. So now the question is here, what is the feeder class? Obviously, because this is the field, so definitely this field is residing whatever the UIBB. I need to identify this UIBB feeder class. This is the simple way to identify the feeder class. So go to the technical help and then component configuration, component customizing. That means this is the standard one and this is the customizing one. So I will go with the customizing one. Okay. And then, sorry, general settings, feeder class. And this is the feeder class. ZCL. Now you can ask me that this feeder class look like a custom feeder class. However, this feeder class is having Z because it's a customized one. It's just provided by SAP, but it's a customized one. That's why you can see the Z1 here. So what I will do, I will quickly go to similarly SE24 and and there display here. Now the question is which method? Again, one of the important method is get data, process event, etc. So let's see whether get data is possible. Let me see. CT field usage, CT action usage. Okay. So these are all fields are here. So I think that is quite possible. Okay. And see, this is the standard uh, logic. Now let me go to process event. In the process event, whether it is possible here, IO event, EV result. I think this is also possible. Yeah, because all I need for this to make some default value. That is possible to pass some default messages. Okay. So now how I will do this? Wait a minute. Okay. System is not responding. Okay. Okay. Here also we created the enhancement section. This is the enhancement section. Now this is the one. What exactly this? MO entity. Now MO entity is nothing but it is one class attribute, and this class attribute is uh, this is the reference to this particular class. Okay. Now what is this entity is all about? Like why we need this entity basically? Basically, the, in object oriented above we have something called reference object. So let's say I have a class. Instead of calling the class again and again, the whole class, I mean, we can refer to that particular class into a certain reference object. And this MO entity is nothing but that reference object. So we are calling this reference object. I think my screen sharing is off. Can you able to hear me?
Aditya, we can hear you, but your screen is on
Hmm.
the class builder.
Right, right. My screen sharing has been dropped. I'm trying to rejoin. Just give me 2-3 minutes. Okay. Just share my screen. Okay. Okay. So as I was talking about, so this MO underscore entity, this MO underscore entity is nothing but a class attribute, and this class attribute is having it is a reference object of this associate class. Now, as I mentioned, what is this reference object? So basically, I have a certain class, static class, custom class, whatever. Again and again, instead of referring the same class as a whole, I can create one reference object, and that reference object will represent the class. Okay. So this reference object is now we are using this in order to call the get properties. So get properties is the method of that class. Now let me show you. So this is the class. Get property. Here we have get properties. Okay. So this get properties. So this is the method get properties. So now what is the use of this method to call? The use of this method is now I want all the information. I want all the information about the change request fields, particularly the UIBB which I'm targeting. Okay. Now the question is why? Why I want this information? So through get properties, I will collect all the fields which is related to the change request information, particularly if I say this part, all the field details, whatever the value it has, okay, by default. Then I say, and I'm storing this information in ls cr attributes. Now in lscr attribute, the description, if the description is initial, description means this field. This one, description, okay. So if the description field is initial and the change request type is mat01, because I'm using mat01, then what is going to happen? The another method which I am calling, which is set property. So this set property will help to write the particular value of this particular field, which is in the description field. It will write create material dash demo. You can give any other description. I have given this one. And also the same method I also call for the priority field, and which I set by default 02. So that's what, when you see This is the one, and this is only happening when the material type is mat01. If you select the different CR type, then that logic will not applicable. It will be only applicable for mat01. And the second thing is the priority always you can see default it is coming 02. Then obviously you can change whatever you want. Okay. So this is how we can use it in order to set some default values for a particular field. Okay. Now derivation on UI, this one I will park it at this moment because this is required another level of understanding which is called validations and derivation. So regarding that, we have a separate topic already, separate chapter we have in our agenda. So when we will come to that particular topic, we will talk about that. Okay. So this is the one. So rest of the fields, see, there are many different requirements, of course, but at least we pick it up some of the requirements which is like very repetitive for all kind of projects. So these are all few examples. Okay. So now, so far, any questions, whatever we discussed?
Aditya, one quick question on the default value. Like when you went to the class, I saw that the CL underscore, right? Somewhere you showed it was ZCL. I missed that point, like where it got changed. Like when we are looking at the feeder class.
Sachin, are you saying something? I'm sorry, I didn't able to hear you properly.
Okay, can you hear me now, Aditya? Hello.
Yes. Can you please tell me?
Yeah, I just wanted to see like the feeder class for the default value. In your Excel, it shows as CL underscore something, but I remember like when you were navigating to the feeder class, it started as a ZCL. I missed that point, like where you were showing
Okay.
like
Okay.
even though it shows like a ZCL, it's a standard SAP class, but over here in your Excel, it
Okay.
shows CL.
Right. Now you can see. So this is the UIVB. So right click, technical help, and when you see in the technical help, you have the component configuration and component customizing. So this is the standard one and this is the customizing one. Okay. So the idea is whatever the changes we will do under the customizing one. Okay. So the standard will remain as it is. So, but here, uh, when we see the component customizing, the name is also standard. For both of the cases, it is been standard, which has been maintained. Anyway, that is the standard thing, which we didn't change anything from that. Now, when we go to the feeder class, so this is the feeder class, okay? And this is the feeder class which we copied. And we went to the SE24, click here, then we went to process event, and under the process event, we made the changes. Now you can see, but we went to the class which was Z1, and now we can see the thing is, this is the mother class basically. this class is also having this process event, and the Z1 is nothing but a child class, which is also copied from this one. Okay, so that's the reason what you see here, this process event, which we are modifying. There you can see the mother class name is appearing. Now in my Excel, yes, you can maintain Z or you can keep it just normal CL, but that is not the point. We will not remember the class name. That is not our agenda. Our agenda is we should know how to figure it out the feeder class. Okay, so this is my feeder class and this is my method. So I will go to this particular method in order to write it down, or the another one to write it down, the one. But you correctly pointed out this is the mother class and the Z1 is the child class, which is used for the customizing, and the mother class is for the configuration. Any question?
So Aditya, like we'll always change the component customizing, is it? We'll never touch the component configuration.
Do I follow this? If you don't have a customizing, then you need to go to the configuration. But the right way to deal with this, always you need to deal with the customizing rather than configuration. Any change that will come under the customizing. But if you don't have any customizing, let's say you have only configuration, then you need to go for the configuration. Okay.
Okay. And second question, Aditya, like the first few enhancements which you made for the mandatory field and graying out the field and all those things, like the feeder class was based on a particular UIBB, right? But if you want to restrict those changes to a particular change request type, how will you control that one?
In that case, the same feeder class you need to apply. Just you need to add uh, some logic. What exactly the logic? Let's say first you need to read the change request. So if I go back, in our example, we didn't restrict such kind of thing. It was like general to all CR type. Let me go to, it was get data. Okay. Now if you say that I want specific to any change request type, the very same example I was actually having in this derivation on UI. But however, as you are interested to know, what we need to do, we need to read the change request. Why? Because when you read the change request, you will read not only the change request type, also you will read the basic data information. Okay, where your required fields will appear. Then we need to say if the change request type is mat01 or ymat01 or zmat01, then the same the logic will apply, like it's read only or something. And the thing is, the only thing we need to add here, just reading the change request and apply the if condition for the change request type. And then remaining, this logic will remain same. Okay. But the very same example, because this is what you need it in your real-time example, real-time project. And this is the same example I have for this derivation on UI, but I want to hold it intentionally because this requirement is having little understanding on validations and derivations. So I just need to hold it until we reach to the validation and derivation chapter. Okay, but if you want, probably next session or next week, whenever we have a session, uh, I will show you with the same example. Okay.
Sure, Aditya. So Aditya,
Yeah.
another just a general question, like all these things that we are doing in floor plan manager and all these WebDin Pro stuff and all, in the latest version of MDG where there is Fiori UI and all, are those UI still based on WebDin Pro, or all these concepts are changing there in the Fiori?
Yes. Uh, Now this is very important question. So now this is a very common question which people ask, that look, I'm using right now, let's say UI5, or I'm using Fiori, whether this, whatever you explain, the feeder class concept, the webbed intro component, these are all whether it is related to me or I have to do something different. Now, the the answer is this UI5 Fiori. If I just list down in a proper sequence, then from the descending order, that is UI5 is, let's say, the see, Fiori is also UI5. What is UI5? UI5 is a approach which apply on Fiori as well. Okay, so basically I cannot segregate UI5 separately. Let's say Fiori, then the one step below is FPM, which is floor plan manager, which we are dealing with, and the backend is WebGin Pro component. So in short, even though I'm using Fiori, I'm also accessing the WebGin Pro component. Now the next question is, when you are using Fiori, how you will access the feeder class? Because ultimately at the end of the day, if I need to write some logic, I need to go to the feeder class. Okay, so the simple answer is only your screen will be uh, in terms of you know the the view will be a little different, but everything remains same. Like you will have the change request UIBB, basic data followed by the rest of the UIBBs, everything same, and as well as the way you identify, like right click on UIBB, go to the technical help, and go to the component configuration and identify the feeder class. The sequence is remain same. So technically, except view, it will be like, you will have a good borderline, you will have a good some little advanced view you will have in Fiori. But because Fiori deal with the catalog tiles, it's a completely a different ball game. Okay, but when you enter into the catalog tiles, let's say create material. So this is the create material. Here you have look like a kind of a list item. But in Fury, it's not like that. You have a catalog tile in a separate box. Okay, so you have a search material, then create material, then change material, likewise. So and the heading will be same. Under the process model, you will have a different catalog tile and a different item. The moment you click on create material, your this screen will remain same. This screen will remain same. Okay. So to answer your question, yes, in Fury also we are using the webbed intro component. Okay.
Thanks, Aditya.
Now let me Yeah. Let me quickly go to the supplier governance. I will show you one more example with supplier governance. Supplier, customer, both are same, more or less. Okay. Only supplier you have company code and purchase org, and customer you have company code and sales org. Now, in supplier processing, you can't see anything like create, change. No, it's not like that. Rather, you need to go to the search supplier. Uh, Here, the name is search supplier. When you go to the Fiori, you will have the name like manage supplier. Similarly, uh, in Fiori, if you go for material, particularly S4 HANA, in S4 HANA, if you see nowadays, they don't call material, rather they call product. Okay. And similarly, they don't say search material, rather they call search product. Okay. So, but things are same, just this difference. When you click manage supplier or when you click manage material, rest of the screen are remain same. Okay. Now here you have, when you are creating a customer or supplier, you have basically three options: organization, person, and group. Okay. uh, Organization means it's like a vendor data. Person means it's like a employee data. Okay. And group means it could be a group data or any vendor data also we can consider, but mostly organization and person. Anyway, these are all different change request type. I'm just selecting this change request type. Now, this is the change request. This is the change request type. Now, here, uh, if you remember, in one of the discussion, as I was talking about, in vendor case or in customer case, you have basically the business partner. Then business partner having role, number range, account group, and then followed by ERP vendor. Similarly, for customer also, business partner, then followed by ERP customer. So what you see here, the supplier details, this is not actually the supplier details. Rather, this is the business partner details. Yes, supplier also in XK03, when after completing this, when you go, you will see those information, but ultimately it's a BP information. So first is BP ID or account group. So I'm selecting one account group, internal number assignment. I'm just providing some test data. Okay, so this is the basic information. Yes, you may provide transportation zone and communication details, etc. I'm not giving, as these are all optional. Now roles. So we have to give the supplier roles. So that means we have two roles. One is for company code, another one is for purchase order. Similarly, when I will go for customer, again two roles: company code and sales order. So from here I can get it. here FLVN00. This is nothing but company code of supplier. FLVN01, this is the purchase org of supplier. Similarly, FLCU00 is nothing but customer company code. FLCU01 is nothing but customer sales org. So I need couple of rows here. Okay. Then bank details, tax details, these are all I'm just keeping because I don't have any enough information here because it's a dummy system. So I'm just proceeding with the at least the minimum details which is required. So company code. So company code I'm just selecting from here. Reconciliation account is nothing but a GL account. Just selecting randomly, okay? Anything else? Payment type, sorry, payment terms, payment method, and I think this, okay. Then purchase org. Then purchase org, again, select the purchase org. Then order currency. And okay, so company code and purchase org completed. Then I'm submitting. So far, I don't have any business partner number, and nor I have the vendor number. So final check approve 1244. So what I need to do, I will come to the supplier governance again. Then my change request 1244. Let me click here. So this is the business partner. We start with 6, and this is the ERP number, vendor. 1 followed by 20564. So now if
Aditya, we can't hear you.
Sorry, I got disconnected. Let me connect again.
Trainer is restarting his system. It will take 5 minutes.
Hello, Aditya.
He's just rejoining. He's restarting his system.
Oh,
That's
sure,
why.
sure. Thank you, Arun.
Two,
No
2 minutes
worries.
he'll join. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I just went with some grab some coffee. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay, I think now you can see my screen. Sorry, it took little time. Extremely sorry for that. Okay, let me connect quickly the remote desktop. Okay, so before I got disconnected, so we have seen that we were trying to create a business partner along with the ERP vendor. So this is the business partner number 609631, and the ERP vendor is 1 followed by 00564. So now I want to see this vendor in XK03. So 1 followed by 564. Okay. Now I can see this is the general data and the company code and the purchase order. Okay. But what I have given the company code and purchase order, either I can check from here directly through ERP vendor. Okay. So this is the one 00001 and here also 0001. Or in order to check this, we can go to the table SE16 LFB1. So LFB1 is for company code. So if I give, so this is the company code. Okay. This is the company code. Similarly, for purchase org, it is LFM1, and this is the purchase order. Okay, so now I can give this detail and enter. So I can see. So this is the vendor general information where we have the search term details, the address details, followed by communication details. Then the next is if you have, let's say, the other details like vendor can have the customer number and the tax informations. Anyhow, we left the tax information and other details because these are all optional. Bank details also required, but it's optional. This is the GL account details and followed by payment terms, payment method, so whatever we have given. This is the company code details. Now followed by the purchase org. So this is the purchase org, currency details, payment terms details. Okay, so these are all details about the vendor. Okay, so this is how in vendor we operate the change request. So this is the change request which you can see. Obviously, because here you may thinking that for customer also whether we can, in customer I haven't created any workflow because our next chapter is the workflow. Okay, so that's what we haven't created yet. When we will go to the next chapter, we will create the workflow for material and also material. Similarly, I will show you how we can execute it. Okay, so this is a small execution from the supplier governance. Same way you will continue for the customer as well. So now adaptation. So the another topic which in UI we have, that is the adaptation. Adaptation is nothing but, first of all, this adaptation, whether it is mandatory, no, it is not mandatory. You may perform your requirement through the feeder class implementation. So adaptation is not mandatory. Then why adaptation use and when we can use this adaptation? So basically, if you see, okay, let me go back to material itself because we have some custom field there. So let's say here I right click technical help and go to component configuration. Now you can see here, these three icons are very significant. So first thing is what you see, the attributes. Attributes already we have seen earlier. So let's say if I highlight any of the fields and click on attribute, what is going to happen? I can see the attribute details, the field name, the description, the positioning, everything. Okay. Similarly, if I click on navigations and repositories. Navigations and repositories will bring the list of entries which I have, and I can drag and drop, or I have another way, which is just now I have shown. I can go to form UIBP, and from here, whatever the group I need to select it, and then I can add my data. That means add my fields. Okay. The another one is the adaptation and comparison. So right now you can see it is not allowing me because I'm in the standard component configuration. So all I need to do, I need to go to the enhancement, continue with enhancement, and then you can see this adaptation and comparison, this appeared. So what happens? When you click on adaptation and comparison, wait a minute, let me I need to go one more level before this. So that will be a better way to define this adaptation and comparison. Okay. Let me try in a different way. Go to AC80, and this is the package. By the way, you may ask one more question here. What is the package for BP? So the package for BP is, if I correctly recall, BS, BP, no, BS MDG underscore BS MDG BP. Don't remember at this moment. Something BOLUI. Yeah, this is the one. MDG BSBP BOLUI. This is for business partner. Okay. Okay. So let me MDG BS Mac. Even though if you go to MDG BS Mac, there also this is a kind of a mother package, and then you have sub package for UI, and then you have as it is. And then web info and APM and OVP 03 start configuration and display mode layout. Okay, so this is the screen which I wanted. Now here attribute navigations repositories and adaptation. So now here again, if you try, this is the standard component, so it will not allow you. So if you click on edit button, again you can see it will not allow you. It will ask you the access code. So there is no point. So what you need to do, you need to create the enhancement here. Okay. Always give some logical name in the enhancement implementation. I'm not following here in those examples, but you have to do it when you are doing this for the real-time project. Okay. Okay. Now you can see here. See, there I have two sections. One is the CR section, another one is the material section. CR section, I have the change request UIBB. The UIBB, what we have seen for description, for priority, for change request type, etc. So these are all for the CR section. Material section is for what we see the material UIBBs. So you can see basic data, dimensions, descriptions, all this. Okay, so you can see there are various types of UIBBs, and there are mainly form UIBB, composite UIBB, list UIBB. So if you remember in the UIBB first session, we talked about what is form, which is list, and which is composite. Anyway, so I will directly go to the adaptation and comparison. Okay. Now, let's say, for an example, this is the UIBB, the list UIBBs. Let's say, for an example, any certain UIBB I don't want to see for a certain change request type. One is, yes, you can do this through feeder class. That is one way. Another way is you can do through the adaptation and comparison. Okay. In adaptation and comparison, all you need to do, that is, let me close this navigations and repository. Okay. And then here, add. So this is the base configuration. Now, see here. These are all 4 or 5 conditions we have, mainly 4. Logical action. When you don't want this, let's say for create scenario, for which change request type, let's say for mat01, for which material type, let's say I don't know, or irrespective of all, so no need to define anything. Which step, that is also irrespective of all. Okay, so if this is the case, give some name and continue, and your adaptation is now going to store. Okay, now this is adaptation is like enhancement, so this is also having a kind of a layer, and now you can remove your specific UIBB whatever you want, or you can add it for this. Now let me show you how to remove means, like just select it and remove from here. Okay, or add means how you can add the new UIBB from here. Okay, click, let's say list component, and then it is as same as what we have done for airline processing. If you remember, we give some name, ZMDG, material, UIBB, save, and then go to component configuration. Configuration UIBB, and here is the material new UIBB. Let's say continue. Okay, feeder class. You need to give the feeder class. Okay, so I will also provide some feeder class, some standard feeder class for form, for list, for composite, or you can select from here. CL, let's say form. Search in a broader way. You can see some of the feeder class which is related to BP, some are related to customer, some are related to supplier. So I can find out some for material or some standard. These are all for the list UIBBs. Okay, for the time being, I'm just using this. Now edit parameters. If I have any custom parameters or the standard parameter which I can give the node name as material. Okay, and then add the fields, whatever we have added previously. So this way we can add the new UIBBs in the process. Okay. If you go down. So you have now this is you are in standard section. Go to this enhancement, go to the adaptation, and then see this is your UIBB. Okay, I think this is enough for UI. So now let me quickly unshare my screen and open the agenda. Okay, so first thing today we have seen under the process model activate type linkage concept. So this was a topic which was pending, or rather we park it because we wanted to discuss first the UI model. So this is one. So in this chapter, what we discussed, we talked about configuration, floor plan manager, develop custom UI, enhance standard UI model, and develop UI field properties based on various business requirement with feeder class implementation. These are all. Okay. But again, I repeat, this is just few examples. It can be many more. Yes, we park this topic because this is required, as I mentioned, validations and derivations. Apart from that, we complete this UI. Okay, so any questions so far related to the UI? Okay, if there is no question, so the next topic which we will have, so far, what are those chapters we have covered? We covered introduction, data model, process model, and UI. Okay. So the next chapter is search and duplicate check. But we will not go to the search and duplicate check right now. Rather, we will go the very important chapter in MDG is workflow modeling. Okay. Because this workflow modeling and validations and derivations, they are the continuous topic. So first we will cover workflow model, validations and derivations. Then we will come back to search and duplicate check, and then replication and import and the enrichment topics. Okay, so this is how we will cover rest of the thing. And with having said this, with this UI chapter, we complete half of our agenda. So this is introduction, data model, process model, and UI model. This is the first part. And the second part is search and duplicate check, workflow model, validations and derivations, data replication and import, and the enrichment topics. Okay. Please let me know if you have any question. Let me quickly check if we have anything which is pending or we made it park. No. Okay, so let me highlight. So today we cover this enhancement of the standard application. We also cover the field property activities except this one. Okay, and the adaptation as well. Fine. Any question? Okay. If there is no question, so let me wrap up the session here. And I think all the relative documents and listen to me. I have also shared the raw codes. Okay. If you go to the drive, I have already shared all the raw codes, whatever we have implemented. Particularly today's session, whatever I have shown, everything has been shared already. Okay, please go through it. You can even use that. Okay, so that will be really helpful for you. And I will provide this Excel because this will be good for the reference purpose. And tomorrow I'm not going to take any session. Our next session will be on next weekend. I will provide you the date and time. Okay. Fine. Okay, so let me wrap up the session here. Uh, thanks for joining.
Thank you, Aditya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,